So good morning, loves. Just beginning on your mat, seated or lying down. And just checking in with how you're feeling today. I know some of us are a little bit achy through the body. So just being mindful, if we come into a pose that doesn't suit you, just alter it, shift a little, or completely come out of it and choose something else. You know your body, and that's always the most important decision to make, is whether it feels right to be in a certain posture. So just begin having a few moments of quiet. However your morning has been, let's just sort of come into this space. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe a nice sigh on the exhale. This is your time. This is precious me time, being in these four corners of the mat. A time where we can connect to ourselves, notice how we're really feeling, rather than passing thoughts of how we're feeling throughout the rest of our day. So just being aware of anything that is tight and tender, and just allowing it, working with it. It should pass one day, eventually. If there's some issues that are just temporary, we move through it. Just checking in if there's an intention that you'd like to set today for your practice or for the rest of your day. Perhaps it's to be completely truthful with yourself, or to really look at what you feel is important in your day. Just little things. We can take a different intention every time we come to this practice. So when you're ready, if you're lying down, just hug the knees in for a moment. Have a gentle rock on your back, and we'll come to seated. If you're already seated, maybe just gently rolling the shoulders, moving the head and neck, just feeling the body and coming into a comfortable position. Coming into a seated posture, onto your cushions, or if you're happy just on your mat, that's absolutely fine. Just so long as you can have the body in quite a nice sort of lifted position. And we'll do mindfulness of breath, one we're really familiar with. But each time it will feel different. Maybe the mind will be extremely busy, or maybe you'll really get into it and you'll feel really quite deep into the meditative state. So the 4 stages, counting the out breath, the in breath, releasing the count, and then just falling into that lovely mindfulness of your breathing practice. So resting your hands, Dhyana Mudra, keeping the head lifted, relaxed shoulders, soften your face, and we'll begin. So 1 to 10 on the out breath. And no need to rush. Really enjoy the whole long length of the breath. Breathe into belly. And then after 10, switching to count your inhale. Just noticing the thoughts that pop into your mind around your counting. After 10, just release the count and enjoy the breath. Notice if you're still sometimes counting here. And so we'll just come into the fourth phase where you really, really tune in to everything that you feel with each breath. From the nostrils all the way through the body. Just notice if you felt your body slouch and maybe just lift a little. So just one more breath and gently blinking your eyes open. How do you feel? A thought that crossed my mind as I was coming to the end there was, we've all sat there for 5 minutes doing a very similar thing, but I wonder how many different thoughts between all of us we had. Multiple thoughts possibly, even fleeting thoughts, not even perhaps very long threads of thoughts. It's quite interesting, isn't it, that sitting for 5 minutes, what we send out into the universe, what interesting, important thoughts and what really mundane, silly thoughts came through. So anyway, we're going to come into mantis, our first pose. So a lovely stretch for our back, but also a compression in the legs. Now, if there's hips and knee issues, be gentle here. You might want to put some padding behind the knees or not come down so deeply. Maybe a cushion under the chest, just to support this. If this doesn't suit you because of the knees or the hips, then you can come into more of a puppy where you have the
the bottom raised, and you can come a little bit more like this. So just adapt yourself if you know that you need to be a bit more gentle. And you don't have to come into this in a very deep way. Just be quite soft in this pose. The arms don't need to be stretched, just letting them rest. So whichever sort of variation you've taken, trying to relax the breath and the tightness in the belly. Enjoying the deep breaths. This is a lovely one for your stomach energy, stimulating the stomach meridian. Just noticing how you're feeling. Where is there tightness in the body? Even through your spine, are you curling your tailbone downwards? If you relax the lower back, does the spine and the back shift a little in position? If this gets too intense around your hips or your knees, please also come out and just take Shavasana earlier. Notice where it's difficult today. If there's a part of your body that's finding it challenging, can you soften through it? Seeing if you can relax the head and face and neck a bit more and release into the arms. Take one more breath. And then gently coming up. How did that feel for you? Did the 5 minutes go really quickly, or did that take ages? So just take your time, move really slowly, especially if it does feel quite difficult to come out of that pose, moving the joints, opening through your legs. And then we'll lie down. Enjoying the freedom through the legs now as we come out of that really quite a deep compression, tingling on the feet and through the tops of the legs, round the pelvis and groin maybe. And just noticing your lower back.
Just aware of your breath, the nature of your breath, whether it's soft and gentle, shallow or deep. And just feeling everything fade now, all the sensations. And then we're going to bring the knees in. Take your time as you do this nice gentle rock. And just rolling in circles if that feels quite nourishing as well. And then we're going to roll up and come into seal. So onto the belly. Again, take your time to move into these poses. Especially if you've got a few little aches and pains. I'm going to take a little cushion under the chest. Nice bit of support here. And if you have a block and you want to use it, sometimes I like to use a block, sometimes I don't feel like I want to. So choose how you feel on the day. Or you might start using it and then decide to pop it to the side. So coming into this gentle back bend. Notice your preferred position, whether your elbows just have to come slightly further to the side just to ease out of an intense lower back stretch here. And then really trying to relax all the way down the legs from the buttocks. Bringing your breath to the belly. You really enjoy how the back of the body opens. And notice if you can catch on to that thought that you've got at the moment. Were you conscious of the thought, or was it something that you had to become aware of when I mention it? So still going through your body, noticing anything that tightens up or any areas that you've not looked into to relax. How does your back feel? Excuse me, lovelies. Little tickle. So following your breath.
And you relax your neck. Just checking in through your upper arms and your shoulders. If there's anything you can release a little. And we'll take one more breath here. When I say that last breath, just notice whether you take a deep one or whether it's actually just like all your others. It always works out to be slightly deeper, more conscious breath. So gently find your way into Shavasana. Mindful movement, being slow, noticing your back, but also especially the lower back. And also as you lie down, whether you enjoy it, whether it feels nice. So just allowing your palms to face upwards, resting. Noticing how far your arms are away from your body for the most comfort. And if your eyes are closed, just really tuning into what you're feeling, where you're feeling it, where any sensation radiates out from a central place. Relaxing. Any new places that you find coldness or tingling. Just enjoying this moment of being very conscious of yourself. And then again, we'll hug knees in. Right one, left one. And just a nice rock. Nice sigh. How is your body feeling? So we've come into a nice long back stretch with mantis, a gentle back bend with seal. So we're going to roll up for butterfly. Nice gentle one here, opening through the hips, but does allow for a little bit of a fold forward. So bringing our feet together. If your hips are a bit tender today, I would really advise having extra support. It really just allows the body to soften outwards rather than to initially hold the tension. So a couple of cushions placed under here will allow the pose to be a bit more comfortable for you. And then gently softening. Enjoy taking the time in these poses. It's really lovely for the body to sort of unravel itself over the 5 minutes rather than feeling like we have to push into this pose. And although we are focused quite a lot around the hips and the lower back, just checking in with how you feel in your shoulders and your neck. Notice if you're aware of your breath. And then just bringing your awareness to the belly breathing. What's going through your mind? Come back to your breath. Checking in with how you feel physically. And as we do with meditation, sometimes you might notice some gaps between your thoughts where you're just in awareness. Can you soften a bit more into this posture? Is there anything else you can relax? Even fingers and wrists. Let's take one more breath. And then gently coming up. And being aware of our lower back again from a completely different posture. Lying down, releasing through our knees and hips. Taking your arms quite a little way from the body, palms up. And just with your breath, allowing yourself to gradually soften as you feel safe enough to relax here, especially lower back. Enjoying how your body feels. Even if you can feel quite a deep sensation, perhaps it's released an area, something shifted. Check in with how you feel emotionally as well, whether something is lifted. So when you're ready, bringing knees in. We're going to come into heart bench, but if that doesn't feel right for you today, I would invite you to come into bench with a cushion. So just listening to how your back feels. You may normally do heart bench, but it might not be the right thing today. Just see, you could try it, but come out of it. And that's where your Satyona hymns are coming, where you really do know that, okay, you might like it or normally do it, but it's not right today. So just coming back over a pillow into bench if that's your choice. Okay. So we've done a little bit with our lower spine today. We're going to come into work with thoracic. Gently finding that lovely sweet spot where the block is in the most comfortable position. Resting the head on the top block. Take a few moments just to fiddle with it in case it just needs adjusting, even millimetres higher up or lower down. And then finding that place where you can become still. Let your chin tuck in, lovely length through the back of the neck. And just allowing your arms and shoulders to become heavy so that we have that lovely stretch in the front of our chest. Notice if your hips feel level and in alignment, and just sort of wag your tail to get that central line. And some deep breaths. You feel that pressure as you breathe deeply into the back of the body. And as it gently eases and softens over the time we're here. Notice how you feel emotionally. They often say that the heart center is about giving and receiving love. And I've read that the way the energy flows, receiving from the back of the body and then love flowing out from the front of your heart center. So a really lovely stimulation on both of these areas. Keep checking whether you keep lifting your chin and just letting it settle lower so that you lengthen in the neck. Relaxing lower back. So how do you feel in this pose today? Is it welcome? Is it really needed? How does it feel to breathe? Just follow your breath for a little while. Seeing how long you can stay with your breath before your mind decides to wander off onto another thought. Checking in with anything else you can relax, even your thighs and legs. So we'll take a few more breaths. Enjoy just being quite conscious of these last few. And then gently we'll lift the head and slowly support our body as we come up. Moving your blocks, then coming down. Rolling your spine down. And just feeling that lovely after effect, the pressure that you felt against the block. Perhaps feels quite nourishing, like you've had a firm little bit of a massage on that tender bit that we often get in the upper back. So relax, soften the belly, soften the waist, let the lower back soften and relax. And notice your breath, notice the rhythm, whether it's deep or shallow. Whether you're taking full breaths or they're sort of half breaths. And we'll bring the knees in. So we're going to come into hammock next. Two-sided pose with our straps. Just have a lovely moment here, rocking on your back. Hug the knees in a bit tighter, lift the head if you want to come a bit higher against the mat as you rock. And then we'll roll up. So grabbing your straps, we'll start with the right leg. Popping the strap around the ball of the foot. And then as you lie down, come down, lying down first, having the leg bent, pop it around the back of the head, not the neck. I know I always say this, base of the skull. So it sort of covers the tops of your ears, the strap. We don't want it round the neck, base of the head. And then your left leg can either be bent or straight, whatever feels nice for you. One might feel a little bit easier and on the body. And then we will just enjoy this hammock. And you can either push into your foot gently and enjoy a very soft stretch through the back of the neck, or let the head become heavy and then feel it a lot more through your hamstring and back of your leg. Just notice if your belly's tight as you breathe, whether you've tensed up your abdominal muscles, and see if you can soften. So this is a really lovely one because it elevates our legs when we come to both sides. So getting the benefits of an inversion in some ways. So today we have come into mantis, where we've stretched the back, lovely long stretch. Seal, we've stretched the front and flex into the back of the body. And come the opposite way with butterfly. Worked with thoracic spine, and now around the neck and the cervical vertebrae. So as you lie here, how many of you are still a little bit tense around your neck and head? Just letting go. As the head becomes heavier, you might actually notice a very gentle stretch more through your leg. And as always, just witnessing your thoughts, what's going through the mind in this posture. And then if you want to, you don't have to, you can leave the strap here if you want to, but I like to take the last sort of minute to unhook from around the head and just holding the strap, have a little play with some movement. Nice slow movements so that you can really tune in and observe all the different muscles of the body engaging, or what you notice and what you feel. Leg wide, straightening the leg or taking it across your body. Being very careful of your hips. You don't want to aggravate anything, so just nice slow movements. And as you move the leg around in all directions, you'll notice inner thighs sensations, outer thighs, buttocks, quad muscle, hamstring, calf muscle. Just check in with your breath. What feels the nicest? It might feel nice to really kind of take the leg out to the side and support it that way. So when you're ready, let's just lower the foot down. Swap your feet, I would say, while you've still got the strap. Have a moment to just absorb that, just feel the after effects. Where do you feel it most? Tingling, perhaps in the inner thighs, backs of the thighs. Relaxing your back. And then when you're ready, let's come into the other side. So you've probably got the strap around your other foot now. And again, base of the skull, where you place the other strap. And noticing the difference, you might immediately notice one leg is tighter or more flexible than the other one. Being gentle with your neck. So just deep breaths, relaxing the belly. Notice if you do become tight in the lower abdomen. So lovely for throat chakra. Heart bench was lovely for heart. Seal for solar plexus and sacral. And all postures are great for root because we're on the floor. Just awareness. If your leg shakes a little, you can bend the knee a little bit more if you need to. Keep relaxing the belly and your buttocks. Notice if you're holding your head straight, whether there is tension in the neck. If you really let the head just be supported by the strap, notice how it very maybe gently shifts. Can you feel any stretch in the back of the leg? Developing very gently. Relaxing shoulders. So if you want to unhook and do the same as we did the other side, just have a little bit of movement with the strap. What feels good? What areas you need to avoid stretching? How much of a lift you get with your leg when you have the use of a strap to aid the posture. And obviously the strap helps to keep the foot in a flexed position, so you're definitely going to feel a lot more through the back of your leg. So gently, let's just lower down. Release that strap, just pop it to the side, but have a moment here just to reflect. Which side have you had more sensation, perhaps? Just following any tingling, temperature change. And then when you're ready, let's draw the knees in. Coming into relaxation in a moment, have a little rock first. So a nice practice today, working various parts of the spine gently. Okay, so if you want to come to seated, you can. If you want to stay lying down with some blankets and bolsters. Just choosing what's most comfortable.
So have a moment to relax in a nice settled position. So this is just a piece by Eckhart Tolle. I'm not sure how you pronounce his surname. He's a really wonderful author, and I have read at least one of his books. Really makes you think. One of his books is The Power of Now. Really wide-selling book as well. And there's a little reading in this book by him. So, The Compulsive Thinker. The compulsive thinker, which means almost everyone, lives in a state of apparent separateness. In an insanely complex world of continuous problems and conflict, a world that reflects the ever-increasing fragmentation of the mind. Enlightenment is the state of wholeness, of being at one, and therefore at peace, at one with life in its manifested aspect, the world as well, with your deepest self and life unmanifested at being with one, at one with being. Enlightenment is not only the end of suffering and of continuous conflict within and without, but also the end of the dreadful enslavement to incessant thinking. What an incredible liberation that is. And another little quote here. All that happens in the mind appears to be happening to you. When you don't mind your mind, nothing is happening. And that's by a yogi. Interesting thoughts. When you don't mind your mind, nothing is happening. That's a lovely thing to ponder while you have this time to think. Minding your mind. So have a few moments now just to bring your mind back from whatever thoughts you were on then. Come back to the breath for a few more moments. Checking in with how you're feeling physically, mentally and emotionally. Whether you like this quietness and whether you're resistant to coming back into the rest of your day. So just gently start to move fingers and toes. And maybe rock or roll the head round. Whether you're seated or lying down, you can roll your shoulders. And then if you are lying down, hugging knees in. Taking a few deeper breaths, allowing maybe a nice long sigh on the exhale. Always releases a little bit more tension. And then gently coming up. Have a moment just to root yourself down again. Just that momentary thought of roots coming down, maybe from the tailbone. And then we can draw hands to heart. Om Shanti. Namaste.